22nd of May and it's snowing.
You're John. I'm Dave.
Finally, we get some real nice weather.
Muhammad Ali.
He's got a heart made of yellow barley straw.
Hi, I'm John.
And I'm Dave, and welcome to the winter edition of the Hardware Guys.
Actually, Dave, I'm not a hardware guy anymore. I sell real estate.
Well, that's okay, John. You're still a hardware guy at heart.
Right on.
Are you kidding? I'll be going someplace warm. That's why they call them snowbirds.
Myself, Donna, I think that I would probably stay. I think, well, as a person speaking, I guess, I have no intention of taking off. I think as a bird, mind you, they don't have, if you have a warm house and stuff, I guess, in the evening, but I find winter very refreshing. The breathing in of the cold air, it's an exhilarating time. I guess as any season change or whatever it is, but I'd stay.
I would go. Definitely.
Bye.
I remember when I was young, we had wild animals for pets, like a baby deer. We had a baby deer with all its little spots, and we had this great big armchair in the living room, and that was his bed. And I and my brothers and my sister, we'd all take turns filling the baby bottle and feeding the deer. Oh, and we had that thing right till it grew right up, right up, and then Dad said, oh, it's getting so big now, we have to let it out.
Somebody's going to shoot it.
It was in 2 days, and neighbors down the road shot our pet deer.
Exactly, same story we had. It's so sad.
And owls was another pet we had. We had 2 owls. And Dad used to go outside and he used to say, "Ko ko ko no take a tail." That means, come here, my birds, or something. And they used to come land on each shoulder.
Really?
Oh, those things were... And those I think we had for a whole year. It was just amazing. And they'd only listen to Daddy. Daddy'd go outside and he'd call those owls and they'd come. But those were 2 of our main pets, those owls and that baby deer.
Early days, the waxwings would come into a place like Yorkton when I was young, and they would stay for 3 or 4 days and eat all the cotoneaster berries and the wild saskatoons and chokecherries, and then they would leave, and you would only see them those few days. But now, with settlement and people planting the mountain ash trees in their yards, there's all kinds of food for the waxwing. And then another change that happened with these big flocks of waxwings as food, the merlin, which always went to Texas for the winter, some of them began to stay especially in the cities, where the fruit trees were, so where the waxwings were, so where the food for the merlins would be. The evening grosbeaks, we've had them come from Massachusetts and from Hornpain, Ontario, because these winter birds have more of a west-east migration, whereas the summer birds mostly have a north-south migration. This is a very nice little system. If we were to go away for half an hour, we would hook the trap like this so it's held open. And they can go in and out and become accustomed to it. But if we're home and ready to take them out right away, we just set the trap like that, and then when the next bird comes in and steps on the trigger, down comes the door. In the backyard, we have very heavy times when flocks of waxwings come, for instance, when in the spring, the juncos come through, white, and then into May, the white-throated sparrow, white-crowned sparrow, Lincoln sparrow. We band grackles, and we get a very high recovery rate from grackles. The blue jays come periodically. We catch very few of the robins. They're rather wary of the traps. And of course, we go out into the field to band owls of all kinds. The traps are baited with mountain ash berries, rowan berries, because of the waxwings. One day we caught 78, and another day we caught 39. We learn where birds go, and we learn how long they live, and we learn that the local birds, of course, the chickadees stay here year-round. You hold them between the index and middle fingers. They're so tame they'll sometimes get accustomed to eating out of people's hands. Anyway, they're very cute little fellas. So we put the pliers in. These are opening pliers. And you spread the band apart. They originally issued them flat. And that's why they were called bands, because it was a band of aluminum. And of course now they come in rings. And in Britain, this is called bird ringing. But here we call it bird banding. So then we put the closing pliers on. Now this is number 28. Each bird has, I've just given you the end number. Each bird, and they come in strings of 100. Each bird has a unique number that no goose or duck or any other bird has this band number. We measured the wing chord as a measure of the size of the bird, and this little fellow is 63 millimeters. And this sock weighs only 1 gram. So we then weigh the chickadee and the sock. Now, these were very sexy mesh stockings worn by Mary Houston when the mini skirts first came out back in the late 1960s. So this is a venerable sock, and this is quite a light chickadee, it's 12 and a half takeaway. One is 11 and a half grams. And then, if you're ready, we will, this bird is going to fly away now in a moment. Away you go, chickadees. (1841) 09428 black-capped chickadee. The wing chord was 63 millimeters and the weight was 11.5 grams. Dead bird, injured bird with a band on its leg, it must be reported, because this is scientific information that could be very valuable. This might be the oldest bird of that species, or it might be the farthest away. Our birds have gone as far as the Cook Islands out in the Pacific, 2,000 miles out of Hawaii, that's where a common tern went, to Siberia, where a pin-tailed duck went.
It's winter time now and there's no garage sales, so we just look over what we have bought, all our treasures from other years.
It probably would be good to actually collect things and then get rid of them by selling them or something once in a while, but this little bobblehead squirrel is not an antique, but it's certainly a collectible, and it's a bobblehead.
But he's losing his tail.
Yeah, he seems to be shedding a little.
Yeah,
but
so we gotta.
Anyway, that's one thing. Bye for now.
Bye.
We fed the blue jays, and the grouse used to come. We had a special feeder made with a small trough, and Frank would put wheat in it, and the grouse would come and he'd feed there. Well, we fed about 200 birds. We had lots of chickadees and redpolls and things too. But the blue jays, I loved the blue jays, and they don't seem to come into town. I sure miss them. Peggy Lynn got quite excited this year when one went to her feeder in her backyard in North Battleford, right in the city. It was always so easy to write about the birds at the farm. We had the woodpeckers and the jays and the small birds, and then the grouse would come and the owls. And yes, and that's it for this time. Bye for now.
But apparently there was a huge one over here
Yeah, that was
by the railroad
Bryce James.
track, eh?
Old
Bryce
Bryce
James.
James.
Yeah. Where they'd supply most of the ice to Regina, right?
We came up
Price,
here.
Price James
No.
has supplied the town.
Oh.
And the
But
cottages around.
And the cottages.
Yeah.
But where
At one time there was an outfit here that they shipped ice in on the railroad to Regina.
where Kramer's Gary Redhead's cottages
Oh,
was a spur.
Yeah,
And
just east of there.
well,
Just
in
east-
about where Redhead's cottage
just
is,
east
so
of
there
that
was a
cottage
spur.
Yeah,
And they every winter they hauled ice out of Mission and
because there's
packed
kind of
it
a
in
road that
rail-
goes back up from the lake there,
Yeah,
and it goes right up to the railhead. I mean, right up to the
oh,
railroad.
so they'd haul it into Regina in the winter
yeah,
Yep.
and then pack it in straw in Regina.
yeah. They hauled it in boxcars.
It was a little bit warmer than it was yesterday. 40 below was pretty tough on the old bike. The grease in the freewheel was getting pretty stiff. It's only when it gets like close to 40 below that it makes it a little bit more difficult on the pedaling. But when it's like 25, close to 30, it's not bad. As long as the wind is not up, I don't mind it. Plus the town does a pretty good job clearing the streets. Yeah, it's not bad. not all polished up yet, so we're doing all right.